Hi everyone, welcome to Psychiatry Simplified, the leading psychiatry channel where we cover all things psychiatry and neuroscience related to help you understand the brain-body connection in a more comprehensive way. I'm Dr. Sanil Rege, consultant psychiatrist, founder of PsychScene and Vita Healthcare. So this video, I am going to take you through how nature affects stress modulation. The big question is, why is it important to study the effects of the environment on stress-related brain activity? We know that city living is associated with an increased risk for mental disorders, including anxiety, depression, and even psychosis. And effects on the amygdala have been shown to be greater in urban environments than in rural areas. Now, why do we think about the amygdala specifically? And it's because stress initially affects the amygdala. And that's when the cascade starts, particularly when stress can't be modulated or controlled any further. We know that amygdala activation has decreased faster after a rural walk than it does after an urban walk of the same duration. What is the role of the amygdala in stress mitigation or stress modulation? The amygdala plays a crucial role in fear response formulation. Stress responses are then mediated through the anterior cingulate cortex. So this is known as the limbic circuit. So we know that the amygdala is connected to the anterior cingulate cortex. When we're exposed to stresses, the amygdala is activated, resulting in the fight and flight response. And this depends on the level of threat or the stress that we experience. Noradrenaline is released. We know that an optimal level of noradrenaline is required for prefrontal cortex functioning. Too much, and it results in impulsive decision-making and what we call stress and the feeling of really not being able to make decisions appropriately. And the anterior cingulate cortex puts a value on that stress, whether it's sort of negative or the feeling that one can actually control it. Then from the anterior cingulate cortex further, there are the connections to the medial prefrontal cortex, particularly the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. And this part of the brain then initiates fear extinction through what's called top-down inhibition. So the prefrontal cortex reduces amygdala arousal. So therefore, if the prefrontal cortex has a good top-down inhibition on the amygdala, the effect is less stress, greater relaxation, making it easier to navigate anxieties as they arise. You might remember in the video that we did on mindfulness and meditation, this is the exact strategy that's used in meditation and mindfulness, where the prefrontal cortex is somehow being trained through the different methods to top-down inhibit the arousal areas. And the same aspect can happen through strategies that do not necessarily have to involve meditation. It can involve activity as well. Dysfunction of this ventromedial prefrontal cortex, anterior cingulate connection to the amygdala, is associated with exaggerated stress reaction. And this is what we see in individuals with post-traumatic stress disorder. It is estimated that by the year 2050, around 60% of the world's population will live in urban environments or cities. Urban living has been associated with increased risks of developing mental disorders. Environmental factors are also associated with higher rates of schizophrenia in some communities. And this is from the study from Van Os, 2004. So what we'll do is look specifically at nature and stress modulation. Now, there are two theoretical frameworks for studying the psychological benefits of nature. Firstly, there is the attention restoration theory, which investigates the involuntary restoration of cognition, really when you think about the prefrontal cortex, through conscious exposure to the natural world. And the second one is stress recovery theory, which focuses on the restorative effects of mood after contact with nature. And this is one of the reasons why, even though individuals go trekking, for example, for days, which is physically very, very draining or tiresome, it has a reciprocal calming effect, because pain, in a way, exercise, trekking, can result in the release of opioids, but at the same time, we have this additional effect of connection with nature that has additional benefit. Now, in an interesting study in 2022, researchers Sudimak, Saleh, and Khan presented findings of their intervention study, which investigated stress-related brain changes in 63 healthy participants. Their task was to go either on a 1-hour walk in a busy urban location or in a green environment. Brain activation was measured before and then after the walk via functional MRI. And the stress activation measure that they used two. The fearful faces measure is a well-known proxy for amygdala activation, or how the amygdala responds. And the second one that they used was the Montreal Imaging Stress Measure. After the fMRI, participants were assigned randomly to either the urban or rural walk and were familiarized with the route before starting the task. So there was no additional stress where they would get lost or other aspects that would influence it. So removing a confounder in a way. Once the task was completed, both scans were repeated, and an extra measure known as the Social Evaluative Threat Test was also administered. So they're trying to measure this amygdala activity through different ways. Findings, and this is really fascinating, revealed that amygdala activation decreased after the walk in nature, but it remained stable after an urban walk. These results tell us that walking in nature can have significant impact on amygdala arousal and can reduce stress-related amygdala arousal. Now, of course, bear in mind that this was in individuals who were healthy participants. Now, what we've got to think about is that this might not apply to individuals that are very unwell. Having said that, when we think holistically, in some cases, we use pharmacological, psychological, social interventions initially to assist with the amygdala arousal reduction, and then we can implement these strategies such as exposure to nature, exercise, diet interventions subsequently to enhance their ability to remain in recovery. Consequently, exposure to nature may act as a preventative measure against psychological stress and potentially disease. So where I think it can be very beneficial is at a population level, just like sleep, diet. We covered the neurobiology of sleep, so exposure to sunlight during the day, reduction of light at nighttime. These are strategies that can be preventative in reducing the mental health burden. Similarly here, exposure to nature can be preventative and can reduce psychological stresses. Given that the world is undergoing rapid urbanization, the study findings may encourage town planners to create more green spaces in urban settings. And we know that this tends to happen nowadays in a lot of urban places. There are buildings, for example, where the green is added on, even though it's a single sort of building. So I guess this is becoming part of architecture and design as well. So therefore, I hope that this video has given you a good understanding of the role of the amygdala in stress modulation, but also recognize that there are preventative strategies, and as we did in this video, that walking and exposure to nature in outdoor spaces can improve mental health and well-being. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you leave comments in the comment section as well. Please let us know what else you'd like to hear from us. I look forward to seeing you in another video soon. Until then, stay natural. Bye-bye.